his way into the world in September. But at 2 pounds 8 ounces, he's here and he's fighting. So is his mom, Rachel. The violent wreck you see in this doorbell video as Rachel's car slams into a rock wall. She had been feeling sick and passed out while driving home in Eagle Mountain Thursday. Her husband and father say a medical issue, likely pregnancy related. Lifelight rushed a 27-week pregnant Rachel to the hospital.
So this is House of Hughes. They consist of 4 of them: Rachel, Hunter, Beckham and Blakely. Please, for the love of God, people, can you stop calling your children Beckham? Okay, I'm not sure if it's a new trend because of, you know, David Beckham, but it just doesn't sound right. It seems to be more and more people doing this. So anyway, that's just an aside. I'm just saying, right? So this is House of Hughes, and it's not that large a channel. I mean, 90,000 people. I don't know 90,000 people in real life, so I guess it is quite large. However, they're comparatively small channel, 90,000, but they're a little bit problematic in my book because of the way that they clickbait their 2 children, one of whom has cerebral palsy, and a couple of birth stories in particular I want to go over today because it is problematic. As I said, their largest, most popular video is here, the story of my 27-week miracle baby. I'm gonna go over that in a second, but this one, this title here, this thumbnail and title really did rub me up the wrong way. I got in a car accident and it caused my son to be disabled. Now, whatever is the case with this situation, I don't think that this thumbnail, this title, is appropriate. It kind of, you know, it's kind of like laying blame on why your son is the way he is, and I don't think that's fair on him. House of Hughes, this is the story of my 27-week miracle baby.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I would be totally lying if I said that I wasn't pretty nervous to film this video. This is probably the most vulnerable I've ever been, especially on camera and on social media. As you can tell by today's title, we are going to be talking about the birth of my son, Beckham. He had a very, very traumatic and, in all honesty, quite tragic birth story. I'm sure that a lot of you have heard his story or know little bits and pieces from things that I've shared on social media like Instagram.
So buckle up guys, this is not just any old exploitative birth story. This is a particularly tragic birth story. It sounds fun, and it sounds like the pitter patter of money.
But today I just want to go a little bit more in detail and share some of the really vulnerable details of what actually happened in the hospital while he was fighting for his life right after he was born, and kind of take you through some of the just really, really difficult experiences that we had in the NICU.
Well, it sounds quite traumatic. Your baby fighting for his life, and now you're just going to cash in on that. But, you know, what is the baby's life compared to a few extra dollars?
You know, we were just expecting a totally normal birth experience. And that is obviously not what ended up happening. The day that I turned 27 weeks pregnant was a totally normal morning. I had had a full breakfast. I woke up, was getting ready to go to work. I left my house, and then I actually ended up having to turn around on my way to work in order to go home and grab my laptop from my house. When I was on my way back to my house, I started to feel a little bit lightheaded, and nothing was out of the ordinary. And so I honestly thought that I was just getting a little bit dizzy and might end up throwing up, because that had happened a couple previous times in that pregnancy where I would get really dizzy and then I would end up just throwing up and feeling so much better. That's honestly just what I thought it was a little dizzy spell that was gonna lead to that, and then I was gonna be good to go. So I was actually sitting at an intersection and I just started to get like really lightheaded. Like it was more intense than previous dizzy spells that I had had. And so I was actually going left at a light. So as soon as I turned left and I crossed oncoming traffic, I immediately just thought like, stop in the middle of the road. I didn't even think like pull over. I just thought like, stop right now because you're going to vomit. Before I could even hit the brake, I woke up to a man carrying me out of my car. I had ended up immediately passing out after I turned at that intersection. Thank goodness there were no children in the road because this was at about 10 in the morning in the middle of summer. And so nobody was outside and I ended up, you know, falling forward. And so when all of my weight went forward, my foot naturally just hit the gas. And I ended up crashing into a rock retaining wall that was on the side of somebody's home, going about 55 miles an hour.
Jesus Christ almighty. Okay, see, there's so many facets to this story in this channel, but this is like one of those instances where you think, my god, she's lucky to be alive, obviously, and as is the baby. She was only 27 weeks pregnant as well, and they had to save her and the baby, so fortunately both survived. But this is now obviously where they are okay, but they are going to exploit this situation now for their financial gain, and that's where the problem lies here.
I do not remember the impact at all, and I think that is just a huge blessing that I don't have memory of the accident itself. I just remember kind of slightly coming to consciousness when I was being carried out of my car, and it was a very, very sweet guy. I get emotional talking about him because he was actually working from home that day. And later we found out that he never works from home. It was like very atypical of him to even be at home at that time, and he heard my car crash. And so he came running out, and when he got to the driver's side of the door, he opened the door and realized that I was pregnant. As he was carrying me out of my car, he was already on the phone with 911, and they had advised him, to my understanding, to keep talking to me and keep asking me questions to try and keep me conscious. I have absolutely no visual memory of anything until after I gave birth to my son that day. I have a couple little snapshots in my mind that I remember seeing visually, but according to everyone at the scene of my accident, my eyes were actually open, but you know, I don't have any recollection of anything that I saw. I just remember what I heard. I think there were a couple people that initially were at the scene of the accident, a couple neighbors who lived close by, and I was screaming. I was just in so much pain. I've never felt pain like that in my life, and it was really difficult for me to explain, you know, what was hurting, because I was trying to describe that it wasn't necessarily like my crotch, but it also wasn't really my belly. And what I was trying to communicate was that it was my pelvis that was in so much pain.
Okay, so she basically goes on to explain her entire day and her birth story in the finest detail possible. And I'm not going to replay it again. If you want to go and watch it, it's on her channel, House of Hughes. I don't recommend it, but there you go. She gained 700,000 plus views for this video, and obviously, you know, it's obviously why. She went on to do a part 2 to this, which got over 150,000 views. She's done multiple other videos about the birth story itself, about the she's done this one here, which is about her other child, who had a life-threatening pregnancy. So she's been rather unfortunate, but she has been fortunate in the sense that she's been able to clickbait the hell out of both her births because of the way that they happened. So yeah, we're not going to go on any further because the channel is just full of talking about her children's illnesses, clickbaiting the fact that her son has cerebral palsy due to this accident, and which, again, as I said before, is not really fair on the child to lay blame on a single thing. This is why you are ill, this is why you are injured. It's not, you can't do that, it's not fair. And yeah, they continue to make bank due to being fortunate enough to have the clickbaitable titles on tap, isn't it? You know, I'm jesting, of course, but you know, it's seen so many of these channels pop up with, you know, disabled or less abled children, sick kids, and all these want to do is they put it under the guise of raising awareness when it's not. It's just taken advantage of and making money from it. So there you go. Thank you all so much for joining me today. Please remember to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you're new, because I'm here every single day and we have different videos every single day. So take care, and I'll see you again soon in another video. Bye bye.